On the next play, forget the last one. I thought they did a really good job of, locking in defensively, rebounding the ball. Offensively, I thought we generated really good shots, like through the point where they were tightening up the game. They just didn't really go in for us. But we didn't lose our nerve, and we, found a way to win. And that's important.
Anthony Edwards gave you some big baskets in big spots, especially a couple of those three-pointers where when he shoots them, you might go, oh, and then when he hits them, you go, yeah. How big were his contributions tonight? I
mean, they were huge. They came, we were in a little bit of a run, and then they were kind of just, obviously a little bit of a knockout punch, but we probably swung a little too early for it. But, no, I was proud of him. He played well. I mean, he's going to the hoop like we asked him to do, and, finishing and taking the game to him. And I was proud he got a tough hit in the ribs, and he came back through that. And his defense was excellent, too, down the stretch on Lillard when we had an opportunity to switch on to him.
Jerry, go ahead.
How do you explain the free throws from the start of the game to the end of the game? And have you ever seen or recently seen a stat line like Josh Okogie, 0 for 2, 0 for 1, 10 for 11?
I mean, he was driving the ball hard, and we found him in good space, and he did a good job of getting into the paint and playing off the catch like we asked him to do. And his decision-making offensively was extremely efficient.
What about starting? I think you were 8 for 17 on free throws in the end. I think it was 21 out of 22.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing is good shooters were missing them too. So sometimes you have that. It was a little funky. Once again, our start was funky. Both teams were trying to feel their way into the game. I think the back-to-back and the daylight savings time and the early testing, and there's a lot of reasons why it was a slow start.
John, go ahead.
Just with Ant for a 19-year-old to kind of step into a fourth quarter like that against Damian Lillard and really want to go toe-to-toe with them, I mean, what are you just starting to learn about him as a person, and his sense for the moment and wanting to have those big shots?
Yeah, he's fearless. I mean, that's what you want from all your great offensive players, to be absolutely fearless. And, as he learns the NBA and learns his own game and just tries to, master those individual situations that he finds himself in, which he will over time. But it's fun to see him playing like that. That's for sure.
And with Pat, Chris, I mean, he's limited to 9 shots, but the 8 assists, I mean, it seemed like he played pretty good defensively and was communicating that way as well. Just what did you think about his overall game and being able to impact it beyond scoring a bunch of points?
Well, we talked yesterday, John, about teams making adjustments in games like this, playoff style coaching, really. And he had a big night yesterday. They were not going to let him have it the same way tonight. They changed up their looks, doubling different ways throughout the game, and he did a really good job. Early on, he was probably a little too passive, and I thought he could have gone to work quicker in the post, and he started to do that. But he generated a lot of open shots for us later on when we put the ball in the post, like in the fourth quarter. We just didn't make them. I mean, if we make a couple of those shots, he ends up, with at least 10 assists. And he almost had a triple-double, and his defense was really good. He was up tonight like we asked him to be up, and challenged everything. He got out to guys. We played the big lineup against the small lineup, which we were determined to do, and they figured out how to make it work. So there's a lot of different ways you can dominate a game, and I thought Cat was excellent.
Dave?
Hey, Chris. Ann talked about how we wouldn't be talking about the shots he was taking as much when he was knocking the ones down from outside. On a night like tonight, did you like the 14 three-point attempts? Did you like the way he got them? Did you like the looks that they were? And I guess it's just a case of maybe he's starting to knock them down. Well,
I mean, the threes we don't mind. It's the tough pull-up twos that, we try to limit him to, particularly early in the clock. Late in the clock, you can always get to those things. And he's done a better job of, getting to the rim, and he's done a better job of taking threes. And a lot of his threes were catch-and-shoot threes, and then he felt the game in his bones a little bit, and then he was in a rhythm to make the tough step backs. And even those tough step backs, he had good separation.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Seems like a lot of games are kind of won and lost in the NBA by scoring wings who can kind of take things over late. Do you see that makeup in him, where maybe it's not going to be every night as a rookie, but just the ability to turn into that kind of guy as he moves on in his career here?
I would think so. I mean, his ability to get downhill, his comfort level of taking clutch shots, and as he obviously improves his outside game, I definitely think he could be a closer.
Dane, go ahead.
Coach, do you believe in the concept, I guess, of the hot hand? And if so, how do you go about coaching for that?
It's a difficult one. I believe players get in a groove, and it's comfortable to get the ball back into their hands. But we know analytically that the last shot has no determination on the next shot. So.
Right.
Chris, you mentioned you wanted to get your big lineup in when they went small. It was a pivotal time in the third quarter when that happened. It sounds like that was planned to do, and I'm wondering, with Wancho at the 3, which he has done very, very little since he came over here, did you worry about the defense and the way you guys are playing, really aggressive defense with that trio in there, and are you pleased with how well it worked out?
Yeah, offensively, we're kind of positionless. We like to let our players have a lot of freedom on the floor. So, Wancho can play the 3 or the 4 on our system with the same effectiveness. Defensively, I thought, he took the challenge, he could guarding, he was really good tonight. And it just helps when you have the more length you can put on the floor and give us a good look out there. We had a kind of a nice, long, lanky, tall lineup, and we wanted to force Lillard to drive into the paint. There was a lot of bodies in there, and then the kickouts were not necessarily always on target as a result, and then we had the half second to be able to scramble out and contest. So that was Rancho's really played well in the last 2 games. He gave us juice last night, and then today he was really, really solid and had some key buckets for us in that run where we built a lead.
Given how many teams do go small and have a small ball lineup, is that a counter that you think is sustainable against more than a few teams?
I think so. I mean, it comes down to, finding a matchup. Cat was excellent. He took the challenge of guarding those guys, guarding Carmelo. Nas did a great job when he was switched on to him. We just want to try to get our best players on the floor in as many situations as we possibly can. We have that flexibility to do so. And we had a little bit of a short bench again tonight, so we didn't have a ton of options, and I was proud of the guys the way that they figured it out on the floor.